what do you understand by the word AND operator? At least we've done Excel and understand what AND operator did or AND function did in Excel. Okay, so in SQL we are expecting something similar. Okay, so what does the AND operator do? All right, so AND operator allows us to combine multiple conditions. Okay, is that clear? So let's put that here. We're going to use that. Okay. Still going to use the same table I used before. Sales dots. Okay. Then the where command city was and state was. Okay. So let me see cities and state that we have. So I can go with Campbell. And then probably, I don't know if we'll have Campbell and how many they are. Okay. So I'll go ahead and execute this one. I should see one row because I saw one row. Okay, so that is how to use the AND. Okay, so where you want to compare two or more conditions. Okay, comparing two or more conditions. So a formal definition will be the AND operator is used to filter records based on more than one condition. Okay, that's like a formal definition. Okay, let's see another example. Basically the same thing. Okay, select from sales dot customer. Now I want to select customers that have a name that starts with maybe a G and then lives in probably the state of, this should be California, be Canada, I don't know. BCA. Okay. So, or maybe lives in the state of New York. Let's go with the New York. State. MP. And now I'll go with first name. Okay. First name like. Remember how we used our like? Okay. Is G percentage. And I said that the percentage determines what the wildcard is talking about. if the letter is before the percentage, okay, if the letter is before the percentage, it simply means that that letter or that particular column should start with that letter, and any other thing can follow. If the letter is after the percentage, it simply means that the column should end with that letter. So any other thing can fall before what? The column. If the percentage is in both ends and the letter is in the middle, it simply means that this letter should be in the middle and any other thing can fall between what? The beginning and the end. That is what the white card is talking about. Okay? So what we are saying now is select all records from the sales customer was table where the state is New York, that's NY, and the first name starts with a G. That's basically what you're saying. Okay. Okay. So I'll go ahead and execute. And we have what? Our records. Okay. About 37 of them. They all start with what? G, and they live in the state of what? New York. Again, this can be a crime case where you are trying to find out what happened. And they told you, okay, the incident happened in New York, and the person's name starts with a G. Okay, something like this can serve. All right. So let's say we have another and. Okay, let's say we add another and let me see if I can extend this and another like. And this time around I'll go with the first name or the last name starts with a C, or let's go has a C. Okay, has a C in the middle or somewhere. All right, let's go with this and execute it now. We have something returned back to us. Okay, as you can see, it's returned both the one that starts with C and the one that has C in the middle, basically. Okay, so these are the guys we are looking at. Okay, he lives in New York State, and his first name starts with a G, and his last name has a C in it. Okay, that's basically what we're saying. So you want someone who lives in New York, and the first name is what? Starting with a G, and the last name has a C, either at the beginning or at the center or the end, anywhere. Okay. Okay. So it doesn't matter if the C is at the beginning or the end or the center. Just have C in the name. The next one you're going to be looking at, I believe this is clear now, Abby. At least it's not just one. You can have multiple and depending on your what, on your context. Okay, you can have plenty and depending on your what context. Okay, so we'll look at the OR operator. Okay, so now the OR operator, unlike the AND, okay, now AND returns all the conditions, right? Returns a value if all the conditions are met. That is, the first condition is true, the second condition is true, yeah, the third condition is true. Okay, now this state is New York, and first name is like starting with a G, and then the last name has a C in it. Okay, if all these conditions were met, then we have a value returned back to us. Okay, in the case of OR, it's basically any of the conditions should be met in any of the columns. Okay, so if you go column, any of the columns that met any of the conditions will be returned. That is OR. Okay, for what's it called? And the whole column must meet. Sorry, I think the whole rows. Okay, rows. I'm talking about rows. The one that go from here to here. Okay, I'm talking about this one. So if the whole rows, okay, doesn't meet conditions, so this row now, state is New York, right? The same row, okay, or the same record. First name is G, okay. Last name has a C in it. That was why it was returned, okay. Same row. Then for all, if any of this was met, okay, if the state was New York and the first name was not with G, it will still return it for all, okay. If the last name starts with a C or has a C in it, but it's not from the state of New York or has a G, it will still return the person, okay, for all. So if any of them is true, all will return it. But and says that all of this must match, so it must be this, and what this. That is, and it's telling that all of them are inclusive in one line. Okay, so that's just the difference. So when you are trying to write a, let me use the word tight condition, okay, we use and. When you're trying to write a loose condition where you want to be more inclusive, you use what? Or. Okay, that's just the major difference. Okay. So I'll go ahead to for us to work with or, and let's see. Select or from let's do one more with sales before we jump to another table. Okay. Now where or okay, so let's start with these two first. Then we'll move over to what? Another one. Okay. So what this is going to do is going to return both New York and I believe this is Texas. Okay. So it's going to return both of them. Alright. So that is all that we're going to have in our state. Okay. Now let's add one more or, which I will change to an and very soon. Okay. Let's add city. Which city should I add now? Let's execute this and where is city from our side. So this too. Okay, so let's go with this. Okay, so now if I execute all of this, I would have more than just what? New York and Texas. I will now have what? I believe this is California or Canada, wherever the CA is. Okay, we'll have them included because of what? The city. Okay, so all the places that have Campbell in it will be included as well. So it will include all of that for us. Okay, so that's basically what all does. So, but let's change this. Okay, let's change this and use or and together. Let's see what will happen. Okay, let's use or and this and last name like okay, let's say last name ends with an E. Remember, this is not case sensitive, okay? It's not case sensitive. That is one thing we should note. Okay, so let me see. And Y and TX. Okay, so executing that. What I'm seeing, I have more of New York than Texas. You see, there's no place in Texas that has a name that ends with an E. The last name ends with an E. Okay, so I was seeing something, yeah. Yes, I need add a bracket. Okay, so, okay. So this is one. Okay. So this is what I wanted to see actually. Okay. So yeah, I was missing something. Okay. So that's just it. So when I'm trying to combine or and, okay, you just have to enclose the or in a bracket, which simply tells SQL to execute this part first before adding the and. Okay. So because when this thing was happening, something told me in my mind that the order of precedence are taking over. Okay? So, but this is what our command should look like. If you first of all take states or this other state, and then after getting this one, so it will now cross check them against what this one. Okay, which you basically going to turn these two into one command or into one condition, and then do this again and this together. Okay, so when the state is New York, and when the state is Texas, and when the last name is what, ending with an E, basically. That's that. Okay, before I was trying this without adding this parenthesis. Okay, and it was giving me, I think it was practically returning only this one. It's practically returning only this one. Okay. Okay. Now, in between this, I'll get things that I want. But practically, it was returning almost everything within the else. Okay. So then, what I wanted was to get the states. Okay, and then their last name should be what? Should match E. That was my intention. Okay, so this is correct this way. What this will do is it will return this or this or this. Okay, and then it will now combine probably these last two together and then return it. Okay, but what I wanted was across these two, okay, across the two states, the last name should end with what? E, basically. Okay, so you're either from the state of New York or the state of Texas, and your last name should end with E. For me to achieve that, all I needed to do was add this parenthesis between them so that this will be formed as a single command. Okay, so it will see this as one, and then see this as another condition. Okay, and then the two of them will be evaluated together, basically. So when I